bustling city, there stood an old music academy that had been abandoned for decades. Its facade was a mixture of crumbling stone and shattered windows that seemed to weep when the wind passed through. Locals avoided the building, especially at night, claiming that on the quietest evenings, a haunting violin melody would echo from within, chilling the bones of those who dared to listen. The most whispered tale was about Sebastian, a violin prodigy who had studied at the academy over 70 years ago, obsessed with crafting the perfect melody, one that he claimed could capture the listener's very soul. Sebastian locked himself away for weeks, practicing endlessly. One fateful night, neighbors heard a piercing scream from inside the building, followed by an eerie silence. When the doors were finally broken down, Sebastian's body was found, still clutching his bow, but his violin was nowhere to be seen. His lifeless eyes stared upward, his face frozen in a grotesque mix of bliss and terror. Though the building fell into disrepair, thrill-seekers and curious souls occasionally ventured inside. Of the few who returned, their stories were chilling. Echoes of violins playing from nowhere, shadowy figures twirling in the corners of their vision, and an oppressive presence watching from the darkness. Ignatius, a young music student intrigued by the lore, decided to investigate with his camera. One moonless night, he hoped to capture proof of the supernatural and perhaps uncover the fate of Sebastian's fabled violin. Armed with a flashlight and his own violin, he slipped through a shattered window. The interior was suffocatingly silent, the air heavy, with the scent of decayed wood and something metallic. He climbed to the second floor, entering the main hall. The silence was deafening, amplifying every step and breath. Sitting at the room's center, he began to play his violin. The haunting notes filled the emptiness, but as soon as he finished, a sudden gust of wind slammed the door shut behind him. Then he heard it, a melody, hauntingly beautiful, yet unnervingly alien. It emanated from everywhere and nowhere at once. Ignatius turned on his camera, recording as he followed the sound. It led him down a shadowed hallway to a pitch-black room. Inside, he saw something that froze him in place, a man, facing away, playing a violin. The figure was almost translucent, but the music it produced vibrated through the floor like thunder. The man turned slowly, revealing hollow eyes that locked onto Ignatius. In a gravelly voice he asked, "Do you wish to play the perfect melody?" Ignatius couldn't speak, but his body moved as if under a spell, raising his violin and bow. The moment he played the first note, he felt a wrenching sensation deep within, as if his soul were being pulled from his body. The music pouring from his violin was not his own, but something far older and far darker. Weeks later, Ignatius's camera was discovered in a dusty corner of the main hall. The footage showed his final performance, but in the background stood another figure, Sebastian, smiling as he conducted with an invisible bow. Since then, the academy remains sealed. Locals claim that now 2 violins can be heard at night, playing a duet no one dares to follow.